Good morning, everyone. In our previous lab, what we have done a few programs related to exception handling, right? And now what we are going to do is we are going to do one program which is related to synchronization, of multi-threading, right? So here the definition is given that you have to create 3 threads in synchronization that will reduce the input number by 1 every time and display such kind of output. So you can see here one of the thread has started. So it is written, it is started. Then here is the thread 1. By default, some name will be given, right? That name will be there only. Then you are printing 15, 14, 13. So every time we are decrementing our number, will reduce the input number by 1, whatever the input you have given. If you have given 15, it will print till 1. Okay. If you have given 10, it will print till 1. If you have given 5, till 1, it will print. And it will simply end the session. But here, all the threads are in the race, right? They all want the CPU to execute. But here you have the critical section. Inside that, only one thread is at a time. So one of the thread has acquired that section. It means it will acquire a lock on that. And once it will finish all this process, then and only then it will leave that critical section and another thread will be inside, right? Simple. So that we know already, right? So it will print whole the things at a time. If you will not write synchronization, you better understand what will happen, right? Each and every time you will write thread dot sleep something, right? So whenever the first thread will sleep, at that time CPU will be given to other threads, right? So here the output will not be in sync. You will get first 15, 14, 13 maybe, then it will directly go to thread 2, it will print 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, something like this. Then again it will go to the thread number 3, it will execute 5, 4, 3. Then again it will start the remaining portion with the thread 1, that it is 12, 11, 10, 9, and so on, right? So this is what it is doing, right? So here the word is synchronization. That is important because we want the output like this and not the scattered one. Fine. So few things I'm showing you how to write this program, right? Few of the structure, because in this program you won't get anywhere, right? So you only have to do this. Okay. First we take one class, right? Say suppose class printing, because it's printing a number. Inside that we'll have one method which is void print num. This is printing number. Whatever the number you are giving as a starting number, say suppose 15. So it will print from 15, right? Then here will print that start, right? So it will be there on the screen. And then we'll have actual loop in for loop. For loop will do what? Integer j equals to n, j is greater than 0, and j minus minus, because every time we are reducing the number. After reducing the number, what we are doing? We are doing that thread dot sleep also, right? 400, say suppose, or 1000, 5000, whatever you wish to, right? And you have to write those statement inside the try and catch, otherwise maybe it will not work, right? So you have to check that. I'm just showing you the logic that how you will do this. And here you are printing what? Here you are printing your j, right? Every time. Then you will write here is the end. Very simple. Okay. And here this method is over. This method should be synchronized. So you have to add the keyword here, right? And first, without keyword, you can check the output. and then you can simply add one keyword. Okay. After that, what we will do is we'll have another class because this class is over, and we have thread example. Suppose that is another class which implements runnable interface, and here we are taking integer variable, then we are taking printing class object here. Okay, this class is printing, right? Maybe you have to make it as a public, so that you have to check what kind of error you are facing. I'm just giving you suggestions. If the error is there, you can make it as a public, right? Here the printing pt, fine. And then I'm creating object of thread. Okay, I mean, I'm just giving right now the reference. Actual object I'll create inside this constructor. Okay, this class constructor, where we are passing printing object, say suppose it's p, and some value whatever the user will pass from public static void main. Okay, here user will pass the resource which is shared by all the threads. Okay, and the number from where the thread wants to print. So that number we have to set to our n, and this object shared resource that we have to set as our pt. So this is what the task. So what we'll do, n equals to x I'll write, and pt equals to p I'll write. Or if you wish to take the same name, then what you can do, you can write this dot pt equals to pt. Fine, but I have taken different name. Fine. And then we are creating the thread, that t is equals to thread, sorry, t is equals to new thread, and we are passing this, whatever the object has invoked this constructor, their reference I am passing here, whether it is t1 or t2 or t3, whatever it is. Okay. And we need to start our thread, don't forget that. So we'll start the thread, and here our task is over. Now whenever we are starting the thread, where it will go? It will go directly to void run method. Okay, so it will go to this run method, and through this object pt, because that is known to our class, right? So pt dot print number, and I'm passing the number here. What is that? N, right? With that number we'll call that method. So with this number it will directly go to this method print num. Fine, and it will execute this for a particular thread. So you have to create 3 threads here, which is already given into the definition, right? Here this class is over. You can take another class which is having public static void main. Inside that, first you are creating printing class object, because that is your resource which is shared among all the threads, right? So you will create the object of printing, and then you will create 3 objects of thread example. And whenever you are creating the thread, at the same time you are passing the printing class object which you have created inside public static void main, whether it is a b c d, whatever the name you are taking, that you need to pass, as well as integer number you need to pass, like 15, 10 and 5, 3 different threads. So that thing you will write here. Okay, I'm giving you very short task to do. Okay, so I hope you will be able to finish this, right? So this is the program I'm pasting inside the chat for the latecomers. Fine. So the program is clear, yes or no? What we are doing is, everyone, you will be able to do this now, right? Yeah. Okay. Fine. So finish this program, and after that, the second program 2, that is for deadlock, that you will write here, and program 3, that is inter-thread communication, ITC, right? Where you will use that wait, notify, and notify all method, right? Fine, so do it, finish this program. I hope my screen is visible to you guys. I was disconnected in between. My screen is visible? Yeah, okay. Have you done with your program, everyone? Anyone can share their screen, huh? Shivanand, Priyansh, Rahil, Bhavya, Jay, Viraj, Vishnu. Done with your program or not yet? Hello, am I audible? Okay, you have done the program, but you don't know how I done it. Okay. So, what you don't know about it, Aman? Yes, Shivanand.
हेलो मैम।
Yes, yes.
मैम एक्चुअली मैम मेरा थ्रेड का कॉन्सेप्ट थोड़ा क्लियर नहीं था। तो मैंने कल ही मैम थोड़ा थ्रेड वेड पढ़ा था, तो उसमें मैम मैंने दो तीन नई चीज़ें सीखी थी। तो उसके रिलेटेड मैम मैंने एक प्रोग्राम किया था सिंक्रोनाइजेशन वाला, तो उससे मिलता जुलता मैंने मैम थोड़ा प्रोग्राम किया है। मैम आउटपुट मैम करेक्ट आ रहा है, बट मैम दो तीन जगह मैम मैंने थोड़े चेंजेस किए थे। तो वो मुझे नहीं समझ में आया कैसे करेक्ट आ रहा है, बट करेक्ट आंसर आ रहा है। मैम मैं शेयर करता हूँ 1 मिनट।
No, no problem. A single program you can do by any of the ways. That is fine. Only the output matters. Right? Good. And then you will do for the deadlock, right? Yes. Shivanand, your
यस
screen
मैम।
is visible. Yes.
मैम ये प्रोग्राम है।
Okay.
सर मैं आपको आउटपुट शो करता हूँ। सर में से टाइप 15
Mm-hmm.
15 10 25।
Okay.
हम तीन थ्रेड
I
बनाए
mean,
थे तीनों।
fine,
यस।
fine. You
यस मैम।
you are taking that number from user. That is
यस
fine.
मैम।
Hmm.
मैम मैंने यहाँ पे एक कंस्ट्रक्टर एक बनाया था प्रिंटिंग के लिए, एंड उसके बाद मैम मैंने ये पास किया, क्यों किया मुझे नहीं पता, बट मैम ये पास नहीं कर रहा था तो एरर शो कर रहा था। उसके बाद फिर मैंने मैम ये ऑब्जेक्ट्स बनाया और उसके अंदर प्रिंटिंग का ऑब्जेक्ट पास कर दिया, एंड देन थ्रेड
Yes,
एंड देन वी कॉल द
because
थ्रेड।
this is your shared resource, right?
यस
So
मैम, ये
shared
शेयर्ड
resource
रिसोर्स।
you are simply initializing to whatever the object you have taken for the printing. Okay,
यस मैम।
that's what you are doing. That P equals to PR.
यस मैम।
Hmm. You then enter the number every time. Yes, in P dot reduction. Hmm. Good, correct one.
ओके।
Very nice.
यस।
Very
थैंक
good.
यू मैम।
Done. Okay. What about the others? See what you are going to do in deadlock, right? Say, suppose, just understand the concept, right? That you have one shared resource which is pen, okay, and another shared resource which is pencil, right? So here, what you are doing is one of the thread, right? Say, suppose thread one, it's having pen, right? That is, you can understand P1 resource in that term, right? P1 resource. And thread 2 is already having here the pencil, right? So that is your another resource P2, right? Now, whenever the thread has been assigned, you have seen that whenever we are creating any of the object of that class, we are passing that shared resource as well as some of the things which is here the necessary. But say suppose you have passed P1, means this thread 1 is already allocating, already acquiring P1, right? And in void run, maybe it is asking for P2, that I want this P2 now. Okay, so P1 is waiting for P2, and thread 2 is already having P2, which is waiting for P1, because whosoever is having pen, he is waiting. Sorry, my my bad. We are having the paper, right? So whosoever is having pen, he is waiting for the paper to write, and whosoever is having paper, he is waiting for the pen to write. Okay. So this is how they both are waiting for each other together, right? Which is not possible because one of the thread is already acquiring that resource. So we can't get it, right? So here it will create deadlock. For that you need to create one program. Right? Same way, if we'll talk about inter-thread communication, so inside that, say suppose there is one method is there which is debit. Okay, one of the method is there, right? Here the debit. Inside this debit, you are passing some of the amount, and initial amount is also there, which is say suppose 5,000. And right now you are giving that amount which is 10,000 to debit. Then it will check with the amount, if the amount whatever you will apply the logic, right? But you are just checking here that your actual amount is greater than this debit amount or not. Then and only then you can debit. So here if the amount is not sufficient, it will wait. It will wait. Then from this public static void main, first you have called debit method, and second you have called the credit method. You can understand one of the check if you are going to submit to the bank, right? But still your amount is not credited from another check, right? So how they can debit? So first there should be credit and then there should be the debit. But here the thread which is having this debit method which is calling, it will be first, then it will wait. But you wait for a while, another method is going to be executed and credit of 20,000 will be credited to this amount, right? And then again I will notify you and you can again execute, right? So this method debit will be again executed after once the credit will done and notify. Once it will notify to debit, now it will again check the same logic if, and then it will check, okay, here this 10,000 and here there are 25,000. So there are sufficient amount and now we can proceed to debit. So here the work of wait and notify will go. I hope it is somehow clear. Yes, everyone. Yes, right. So you will work on this two program, right? Do it. Deadlock and inter-thread communication. You can take the help of open resource, right? But you have to make at least one program and you should understand how it is working. Working is important here, right? I'm not giving any particular definition, right? But I've explained you how it works, right? If it's done, then let me know. Yes. Is it done or not? Doing it, yeah. Thank you. Please do this program, sir. Please. Okay, fine. If you've done your programs, you may write your numbers here and you may leave. If you have done your programs, then and only then. Fine. But you can write down your numbers here first, right? You just write down your numbers here, right? And then I'm also here only. Everyone, please write down your number first. Fine, I hope everyone have written their numbers, right?